Jenny with Project Mommy here again with another DIY. I'm going to paint this nightstand. You can see in the background, that's my end table that I just finished in the last video, but I thought I'd knock out two in one day. This one I am going to do a chalk paint and then a wax finish. I bought this just at a thrift store, I think for like $4, super cheap. The hardware I think I'm going to plan on keeping. I'm just going to paint it like a gold color. And then the paint that I'm going to use is going to be the chalk decorative paint by Behr. And I am using the color Surf. Super cute light turquoise color. And then again, just the Behr clear wax for the top coat. Do need a little fixing. It's kind of like some loose stuff here. These are kind of loose, and then I do have a crack here up at the top that I'm going to go ahead and use a wood filler for. But besides that, there's no varnish on it or anything, so I just need to sand it down just to smooth it out, and then we'll get started painting. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so your first step is to make sure that you wipe down your dresser, nightstand, or whatever furniture that you're working on with just a degreaser. In my last video I showed I used Dawn soap and water. I basically wipe everything down and then re-rinse with just plain water and then dry with a microfiber cloth. And then I remove all of my hardware, whether I'm going to paint my hardware or not. In this video I do paint it, but it's just easier to get a cleaner look on your dresser or nightstand if you take off all the hardware. Alright guys, so on this portion of the video I'm using a wood filler just to fill in a crack on the top of the dresser. This is the only area that I needed it, and this is a quick drying one, so it takes about 10 minutes to dry and then you can completely sand over it. This stuff's really good for any kind of cracks or holes or dents that you might have on your dresser or nightstand or furniture. Alright, so once your wood filler has dried, then you can start sanding. Here I'm just using a 120 grit sandpaper with a hand sander. This particular nightstand did not have any kind of varnish or sheen on it, so I'm just kind of doing a rough sand just to kind of smooth out the edges. So now onto the paint, and again I'm using a Behr chalk paint. In here you also see me using a squirt bottle. I like to water my chalk paint down just because it is a little bit thick and I want kind of a smoother finish. So there's two ways you can do that. You can either add water to your paint in like a little bowl, or you can just spray whatever furniture that you're using right before you apply the paint and it will thin it out as you go. I like the spray method a little bit better, but I mean, it's up to you. Kind of play around with it and see how you like it. Now that the first coat has dried, I'm going to go over it with a little bit of a rough sanding. I'm using 180 grit sandpaper just to smooth over any rough paint edges that might be left behind. Now that the 3 coats of paint have dried, I'm going to be applying the Behr Wax. This wax is specifically for chalk paint. I'm using a 1-inch round zebra brush on this. And basically you're going to apply it all over the furniture, and then you're going to wipe it down with a microfiber cloth once it's partially dried. Typically it only takes about a few minutes to dry, but this will give it a real smooth finish and protect the wood from any kind of chips in the future. Lastly, I'm going to paint my hardware. I'm using the Rust-Oleum Paint Plus Primer, and this is in a matte bronze. I did about 3 coats total on this. It gives a pretty good coverage. You don't have to paint it before. It doesn't matter how dark it is, just because it is a paint and a primer in one. And then after that, I'm just going to put it together, and that is pretty much it. Alright guys, so here is the finished product. I will list all the items that I used in the description below, as well as links to where you can purchase them. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.